Electrocast.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
Hold on to your butts.
We are changing the course of history as we see it. That is what Wesley demands.
Now this affects Iris. Iris, where are you?
What you feel only matters to you.
I do not entertain hypotheticals. The world as it is vexing enough.
Iris, I have a tip for you.
Don't take drugs!
Or Whatever Movies with Wesley and Iris.
What up, and welcome to Or Whatever Movies. I'm your co-host, Iris, and I'm here with my older brother,
Wesley I.
to talk a movie about love from 2025 by director Celine Song. Can we be in the award season's dregs already? Materialists.
Wow. I was going to say this movie is irrelevant because it's now too old. It's lost some of its market value. This is from way back in June.
No, this movie is a solid 6 in the 6.3 user reviews star rating. Do you know the 666 rule? We discussed this, right?
It evokes the beast? Invokes the beast?
Well, you're thinking that because we were just talking pre-record about the Tenacious D Satan song. But no, 6 feet, 6 figures, and
6 inches?
Stop.
I don't know.
Brian said.
What?
That's what
What was I supposed to say?
6-pack.
That's what I was going to go to. You weren't setting me up, huh?
That's what I've heard about before as being like the unicorn. This is like the bane of every man's existence on dating apps. She had a different standard for the male unicorn.
Good body, good income, not drugs.
It's a funny picture, the one sheet. It's a little rom-com-y, although they're a little stoic for it to be rom-com-y. But they're definitely setting up the love triangle, right?
Yes. I think at one point in one of the trailers, she says, I'm in love with 2 different men. What do I do? Something like that. That was cut out. A little like Julia Roberts in My Best Friend's Wedding saying, I keep asking myself, what would Lucy Ricardo do? Like it's a little bit too on the nose.
Both of which I assume got cut out of the final edits,
yes.
Final cuts.
But good for trailer.
We have no shortage of movies where we talk about love. And I think we talked a lot about it in past lives. Wesley, is love a choice?
Yes. I believe love is a choice. It gets hold of you and it compromises your ability to make objective choices beyond that because then it becomes a chemical. But at my age, I simply cannot believe that love is predetermined. You find someone that you can get along with, and then you work hard not to batter that person with your wild flailing.
And by wild flailing, you just mean going through the motions of life?
Yeah. And try not to hurt the other person because I think we live lives of daily self-sabotage. You're the only person who is reliably there that you can put stuff on, blame stuff on, abuse and second guess, question, belittle, sometimes compliment. But I'm going to guess that we abuse and belittle ourselves more than we compliment ourselves.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so you just got to make sure that you reserve that in that direction. You favor that direction a little bit more tenderly and don't lash out to that person who's also going through their own journey side by side.
This movie has some kind of Titanic trappings. She chooses the poor boy for love over the materialism that is available to her. And I was all about that when I was in high school. And now that I am the ripe old mature age that I am now, I think I approach this movie, these themes, a little differently.
I thought you were going to say that it's unrealistic, like Titanic, because the poor bachelor, for some reason, goes all in and is devoted to, like, the sad fat girl.
Wait, what?
Remember when Sophie is accused of being fat?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think he literally called her like a big fatty or something. And then I was like, and then we saw her and I was like, what? It just goes to show, can you say dysmorphia in the reflexive sense? Like, it's
Note to self, look up dysmorphia and reflexive.
Can he say, do men have such distorted body images that they can't see if a woman is fat?
Yes.
Yes,
they
lean?
do.
Yes?
Yes, they do. But remember in 1997, people were like, what's with the fat chick? Why is Kate Winslet so huge? Do you remember that?
Stop.
I'm
No.
dead serious. She was criticized for her weight. I think she was a freaking teenager at the time, like in real life. And people called her fat. People called Jennifer Lawrence fat. And unfortunately, weight is the commodity in the same way that height is definitely the commodity for men.
Yeah, that's like, remember when you had that great revelation from Greece that so-and-so was supposed to be the fat girl?
Yeah, Jan.
Yeah. And you're putting together all the jokes. Then you realize, wait a second, she's supposed to be like the fat friend that everyone cracks jokes about? Crazy.
But it's just a box, and it's either checked or unchecked, as Lucy quantifies value as a prospective match. So I guess in that way, it's black or white, fat or thin, but there's no world, not even in the Greece days, would people look at Sophie and say she was fat. I simply don't understand. Is it unfair to say that she is appropriate body type for her age?
I think there's age-appropriate body types, just like there are age-appropriate partners for people. Yes. It's like everyone talking about that Jessica Biel movie where she's a fitness guru or a trainer or something, and she walks out of the house with this amazingly cut back. And everyone's like, oh my God, you look so great. And she's like, yeah, I worked really hard because at my age, that doesn't come naturally.
Okay.
It doesn't come naturally. You have to work really, really hard. And most of the people who can are the ones who do it for a living. How do you think your life would be different if you weren't 6 feet?
I honestly don't know, because Pedro Pascal says that women just come up to you all the time. I've never struck out since. And I'm like, really? Because I'm the height that he's purported to be, which Kelly always questions. Do you know this? She's like, are you sure you're 6 feet tall? Because her thing is big galoots with size 15 shoes. But this idea that I'm striving to achieve this benchmark, which just happens to be my height, probably in a dad style, like eventually I will hunch and lose inches because I don't have very good posture. But I like being 6 feet, and I find that it is relatively rare. I'm considerably over the average. But then there are fantastically tall dudes. So is it a luxury of Lucy that she can be like, I don't love you and you don't love me and I'm going to resent you because you're poor? Because everyone else, all of her clients, most of which are older than she is, are just like, I just want to love and have somebody have no choice but to love me. I'm trying to settle. And spoiler, Sophie ends up with 5'8" dentist at $200,000 who just wants a nice girl. It's about settling, and I can't decide, but it's my best theory right now, if Lucy is the problem. Is Lucy her problem?
You asked initially if it was a luxury. If love is a luxury, I kind of tend to think that maybe it is. And to choose a partner for love, maybe not a luxury, but it's a choice. It's a choice that you want to be in a relationship with someone who moves you deeply, emotionally, intimately, whereas some people might be okay with arranged marriage or a relationship that's more like a business transaction. And it doesn't mean that those people can't be happy. Yes, I think it's a luxury, and I think it's Lucy's choice that she's in the position that she's in. Even if her philosophy is that love isn't a choice, that love is something that is inexplicable, is unquantifiable, is more qualitative in a way that you just have to go with the flow and choose the person who is your person.
To be clear, the position in which she finds herself, of her own choosing, is that she looks at unicorn Pedro Pascal, all rich and dressed in black and gentle and perfect height and good body, and she's like, nah, bruh. And it's a nah for you too. You just don't see it?
This is my problem. This is my problem with the entire movie Materialists. It is, from my personal standpoint, implausible that Lucy should reject Pedro Pascal. It's so, whether it was Douglas Abel, the casting director, whether it was
he doesn't even have a name.
Celine Song, the
Pascal.
director. It is Pedro Pascal. It's everything I believe Pedro Pascal to be. He is the unicorn. There is no way that I, as Lucy, would ever be like, yeah, nah, brah. Hello? The whole movie is fatally flawed based on this one casting decision. And you know what? And I've tried to give Celine Song the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps she was very intentional about choosing Pedro Pascal because of his lovability. And that's the whole point. But it just makes the movie so implausible for me. I cannot stand it.
See, the thing is, you've been burned by love as well. You've been conditioned lately that when Pedro Pascal shows up in a movie, you're like, oh, he's the one. And then he just pieces out like a third of the way through.
He's definitely keeping this pattern, but the Pedro Pascal pattern continues.
But do you overthrow Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four for Captain America? If John didn't show up and was like, hey, buddy, with your Coke and your beer, would she have broken up with Harry?
Yes, what was it called in past lives? Remember the Korean term for like your soulmate?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
That was a past life.
This was the whole point of past lives because in the world of materialists, she and Chris Evans are going to, eschew materialism and choose love because they have no other choice.
And that love, as we saw continually with John, is fraught with drawbacks. She lays it all out that, hey, this marriage that we're watching from afar, you guys are going to hate each other, and then you're going to have kids anyway, and then you're going to hate the kids because they see you hating each other. And she lays out the entire plan and then goes and does that thing, exactly that thing with John, knowing what tore them apart to begin with.
She was laying out a plan. She may not have thought it was inevitable. She was definitely replaying her childhood trauma. If she was going to follow in the footsteps of her parents, then that's what would happen between her and John. But is contradicting herself when she says all of these things. When she says, this person is going to annoy you, you're going to hate them, and then you're going to hate your children because your children resent you for hating each other, and so on and so forth. If that's the case, which it really is, and that's when I think love becomes a choice is, when you choose to take care of your person despite knowing very intimately all of their flaws. That's when love super becomes a choice. And that's when, isn't it great to be rich?
Isn't it great to be rich? Sure seems to help.
If you're going to hate each other anyway, you might as well be rich.
It doesn't matter, though, for John. He's blessed by circumstance and luck. Even though he doesn't have any money, he's still at the fancy restaurant where he's got the catering gig, where he's the waiter, and he still gets to go to the catered wedding where he doesn't even know anybody. It's a good thing that he has a tux on hand and she has a party dress on hand ready to go when they're going upstate in his shitty Volvo. They just stumble upon a formal event. It's a good thing they're ready. It doesn't matter. He's in all the same places that Pedro Pascal is.
Albeit in a different way. But I get what you're saying. But don't you think it was kind of a childish choice? I mean, she can be living this life, but she chooses to be a wedding crasher.
Yes. It felt childish to me. Clarice Starling says to Hannibal Lecter, "You see a lot, Doctor. Can you turn that high-powered perception on yourself?" Lucy seems to have everything by the balls. She knows the numbers. She understands the drawbacks of the past and the baggage that they're carrying from their past relationship. And she tells Harry to his face, I don't love you. You don't love me. She basically says the same thing. You don't really want me. You don't really love me. And he's like, how the hell can you say that? And she thinks she has it figured out when she applies all the math to her own life and own situation, but it felt wrong and invalid to me, to your point. It felt childish. Was this Celine Song inviting discussion by not painting these as rom-com perfect or imperfect, or even perfect or imperfect for each other? Or was it naivete on the filmmaker's part for us to believe that we should align ourselves with these characters and think there's a right choice, there's a wrong choice, and she's making the right choice?
It's so hard. I mean, it's such a personal thing. I don't think that there is a right or wrong choice for anyone else to decide. That being said, for me personally, I think it was either naivete on Celine Song's part, or this is a genius subversive film about self-sabotage when you think it's a movie about love.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Past lives, we had strong opinions, and in spite of myself, I really liked characters that I didn't want to like, that I wanted to hate. And you said that Brownfield acted exactly the way that a man should act as regards a woman who has conflicting feelings about another man. You put your personal feelings aside and you lay out a carpet or a cushion for her to fall on, or a pillar for her to lean against. And that was all intentional in a way that was surprising. This seemed like it was better positioned to be a typical romantic comedy, and then subverted those expectations all along the way. But some of it was still romantic comedy. We were definitely meant to take positions. Like, everyone found the Coming to America style speed dating montage when she's interviewing prospective clients to be detestable, right? None of those dudes were good dudes. When he's like, no, I don't think, it's like 31 is 30s. I wasn't thinking 30s. Like, all those dudes were gross, and we were meant to believe that in a rom-com style where it's clear she's aligning all of us on the same side so that we can look toward her principal characters as being good or bad or right or wrong choices for Lucy.
It's also meant to illustrate her arc as a character, that she could maybe take her clients at face value. Okay, these are their personal preferences, or at least put aside the fact that she might find some of their preferences detestable. And then later she hates them, and she sees them only as being surfacey.
Children, she calls them. I hate them. They are children.
So we're illustrating this point, but then also there's this question of, is she failing at her job, or did she hate her job all along? We're left hanging at the very end, whether she's going to put in her resignation or she's going to take the boss job at a door. That seemed like it was more about her arc as a person and as a professional than it did about her evolution as a person who's in love.
Celine Song has moments of profundity, or at least the ones that resonate emotionally, even if it's not targeted for a specific emotion. Past lives surprised me. Some things in the Materialists surprised me because I thought I was supposed to feel one way, and then I felt another way. I'm not sure that Pedro Pascal was the right guy, because
obviously. Wait, for what? For the role?
For Lucy.
What? He's the right guy for everybody.
Is he? How would you feel the same way if he was pre-surgery 5'6"?
The Who's Down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
We find Vecna, we end this once and for all, together.
On December 25th.
We have a plan. It's a bit insane. Everyone in? He knows where we are.
Watch out! Get ready for one last adventure.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our friends, no matter the cost.
Found you. Stranger Things, Season 5, Volume 2, begins December 25th, only on Netflix.
That's mean.
If you're actually taller than him. Because just the illusion of the angle with which you look at his face is different. That seems impossibly silly to me, but it is in line with his figure. Has to be a certain number for him to be acceptable. His height has to be a certain number. So I guess it looks better in wedding photos. I'm not really sure. But when he scrunches down, and he's considerably shorter. And thankfully, they cut to that side view when she gives him a hug so we can see that he's kneeling. The effect is kind of profound. And I wondered if it was true, if he is unicorn presenting, but really has all these drawbacks. I watched it again and I saw how aggressive he was, how quiet and non-contributory he was. She would ask a question and he would answer it with a question, and he would just intently gaze at her from across the table in that relaxed and yet utterly still and attentive posture.
Hot?
Well, I guess so. But I wasn't seduced by his little mustache and his cardigan.
It's a good question. If Pedro Pascal, who I adore and find to be very attractive, would be Pedro Pascal if he wasn't the height that he is in real life. Presumably, Pedro Pascal did not have leg surgery. I don't know that I would think of him any differently if I found out that he did. But it's true. It would make a difference. But then again, biggest movie star in the whole world is 5'7" Tom Cruise.
Sure, but he has to work really hard. It wouldn't work for him to lean back and to just act with his mouth, Brad Pitt style, or let his mustache do the talking a la Pedro Pascal. He has to jump out of planes. He has to work doubly hard for the single effect. It's a good effect, but it also, he has the benefit of, how the camera adds 5 pounds. It also adds 5 inches, depending on placement.
I feel kind of bad now that I think that Pedro Pascal wouldn't be hot if he was 5'6".
Get over it. You're imperfect. You don't. You tick the shallowness box. What was the biggest gasp in Materialists for you? Were you like, oh my God?
I think I impassively watched it as all the impassive characters.
You didn't gasp when John, in response to his roommate taking his charger, threw his phone in the blender?
They had a very dysfunctional relationship.
It's true, but because it was dysfunctional and it wasn't harmonious, not only was that some lovebirds shit, but if it's your roommate to whom you're not related, whom you're not dating, that mistake not only would cost you like $1,000, it would get you wrapped in the beak. I don't care who you're on the phone with. I don't care what audition. Maybe he went into his room, unplugged his charger from the bedside and plugged it into the kitchen. But if you put my phone in the blender, you're getting punched in the face. Biggest.
Yeah, they're water resistant now.
They're water resistant being the key word. They're rated to a certain depth, but he put it in like pesto or something. Not okay. It was an imperfect moment in this movie, a moment that was rom-com implausible, that made me question that it was just too much. And I know that seems like a small thing to focus on, but this movie is about small flaws and imperfections.
It's true that naturalism is a hallmark of Celine Song's 2 movies. And without that, it could start to fall apart. I did find the Chris Evans character to be kind of unlikable, but maybe, again, that's the point. I just don't know.
It was the smoking on screen.
There was a lot of smoking on screen. It's pretty taboo these days. I was wondering if maybe this was a period piece. There are some producers who won't produce film stories, tell stories with people smoking. So that was an interesting choice. Was that just a New York thing?
I don't know, but it was very clear and obvious. And in the trailer even, they're holding their cigarettes up by their faces in frame. And I was like, that is a unique choice. It was like a choice from another time.
Maybe that's the subtle cue that this is about self-sabotage.
You didn't like the John character? You said that Brownfield was saying all the right things. Go watch past lives, listen to our discussion, or kind of a podcast. John said so many right things. He was like, I'm here for you. Keep telling me what the problem is. Do you need me to come over there? He was so attentive. Like, do you want to meet me after? Do you want to go upstate? I don't want to take you to my crappy apartment and make you feel trapped. We can get a hotel and all this stuff. Everything he said was honest and true and available in a way that I thought you'd be like, oh my God, I never thought that choosing Pedro Pascal could be a question, but John was just so perfect and romantic. Let me tell you how good and steadfast John was to Lucy, who I'm still wondering, was she the problem? Was she the stumbling block in her own life?
Yeah.
How late was that wedding? Maybe 9 o'clock?
The reception, sure.
The last one, the late wedding.
The one that they crashed? It
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily late. The receptions go late.
I'm about an hour away. Tell Mark that someone is coming right now. She gets to Sophie's house. She goes inside. They talk. They hug. Lucy goes back outside in broad daylight to find John still sitting on the stoop in his tuxedo. By my math, and this movie's all about math, that's 6 hours that she left him on the stoop in a tuxedo with murder mark.
He is Captain America. So, but isn't that a little bit too puppy dog? Is it unfair to be like, I've been out here for a couple hours. I don't think he's coming back. I'll have my phone on. Give me a call when you're ready to go home.
I'm just saying I've done it. I've seen the woman go into an emotional situation, not answer her phone, not check her phone, and disappear literally for hours. It's too important, and I got that after the fact. Doesn't mean I wasn't a little bit butthurt, but I'm probably a puppy dog or whatever. It's my role as a big dude just to be like all protectory or whatever, and to let women go do whatever it is they feel that they need to do.
Choosing a partner for safety is a valid choice, and I think it's a very honest one, too, that we don't necessarily prioritize, but it's all we want in life and partnership is to feel safe. And so in that sense, I think Lucy made the right choice. There was no fear that John was going to take her upstate and do something nefarious. She trusts this man implicitly. It helps that they have a history, but there's something about him that she understands. And maybe it is this thing you're getting at, this loyalty, this goodness that kind of comes through when there's a crisis. It seems like he's a reliable dude in a crisis, although in everyday life, maybe he's an under-earner and should do something about aligning his real finances with his lifestyle and his expectations and stuff like that. But whatever.
Celine Song is a convoluted sort of thing that she's doing, and I think it's by design. I think she's inviting discussion because nobody's cut or dry, right or wrong. It is just a human emotional experience as relates to love, whether it be across time or across town. And just because this one didn't check all the boxes for a drama or a romantic comedy doesn't mean that I discounted it. I find this movie fascinating, or maybe it's just the mental state that it puts me in. It makes me introspective, but we're not doing introspective. We're doing box ticking. So we're going to do rapid fire questions to close out this episode. Are you ready? Go. Let's see how much of a materialist you are. When she said, for full transparency, I make $80,000 a year before taxes, and she lives in Manhattan, were you like, that's not enough?
It's not enough.
It's definitely not enough.
But I think it was meant to be, the figure itself was meant to make her relatable.
Got it. Did you watch the full extent of the credits at the courthouse wedding thingy?
No. I did scrub through it just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Seems like you missed something.
What'd I miss?
They're not in frame. John and Lucy enter frame about halfway through, sit down, they wait, they're called, they come out married. She's got her arm around him or whatever. And then the cave people follow them out of the courthouse.
No, they don't.
Yeah, the cave people walk out from the same little nook that they were in and leave.
Wait, so they weren't really cave people?
It was like a joke. But that was a unique opening, and you're all about openings.
I am, and I thought it was really cheesy. They were very fashionable cave people. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah. Their outfits were on fleek.
There were these like designer hand woven with shells embedded and stuff. I was like, dang, on fleek? Really? Is that how you use it?
In cave people time, I don't think that expression applies anymore. Maybe, aside from the cell phone moment, the other moment where I was like, oh, God. You remember when Pedro Pascal stood on the sidewalk after his little play, shook John's hand, and said, and I had to rewind it and write it down, congratulations. That was really interesting. Can't believe you remembered all those lines. I was like, oh, my God. It's horrible.
You say through cringe.
It's horrible.
He at least did it cordially.
Oh,
I don't think he meant it backhandedly. He wasn't an actor. He was in finance.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's making my eyes water. How horrible and awkward that was when she brought her new boyfriend to the play. And then he is... Oh, God. Too much. All done.
Materialists didn't work for me. I could not get past the casting choice of Pedro Pascal, but that's my own hang up, and I acknowledge that. But in this discussion, I realized she consistently has succeeded in the sense that her films evoke these conversations that are about, like you said, real human emotion, which is so much better, so much more than what I can say about the kind of majority of other films. So in that sense, she really does deserve credit for this film.
And like this movie is genre-proof, our discussions are now review-proof. But there's a lot to say, and I got most of it. I wondered if it's because I have a wiener for some of it, but it seems obvious that everyone was written by the same person and just kind of interchangeable puzzle pieces. I would imagine that those short kings out there could take some offense or some umbrage and be like, this is sizist, but it unfortunately is a reality. It makes me feel kind of sad. I think this movie exposes a soft underbelly to the scaly, glittery dragon of romance and love. Like it touches on so many of the insecurities, and I think that viewers will bring their own insecurities to this and be like, this sucks. Like they're saying that to be tall is everything and doubles a man's value. If you're not 6 feet tall, how are you supposed to regard that? If you're not 27 and you're 31 on the other side of that guy's acceptable threshold for age, how do you feel? If I were forced to be in that position again, I could not possibly compete. It makes me feel glad not to have to worry about it or think about it, because I think this movie was, even though it had some inconsistencies tonally, it presented some weird, terrible truths. It was like turning over the rock of dating in your 20s in New York, and it felt terrible to me.
30s.
Whatever.
30s.
30s is too old.
Did this movie cause you to turn to your partner and feel grateful and thankful for them?
100%. I told Kelly yesterday that she is like my TV. I'm not always watching TV, but she is the centerpiece of the room. She is what all my furniture is pointed at, and she has a tremendous amount to offer. It's just naturally she's what my life centers around. And for that, I am grateful, because Lucy on her own is just twisting in the wind. Even with a plethora of hunks all arranged around her, she can't keep it together. And basically, at her core, she is Sophie. Thinks she has it together and then is blindsided by emotionality and doesn't know how to handle it.
And that's our discussion on Materialists from 2025. Thank you for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you know how to do it, but I'll remind you, 818-835-0473 or whatevermovies@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Do you have a business or a message you want to share with the world?
Well, now it's easier than ever with Electricast. Hi, I'm Mark Netter.
And I'm Peter Rafelson. We're the founders of Electricast Media.
Whether you want to start a new podcast or already have one, join Electricast to grow your audience, monetize your content, and build your community.
With our simple sign-up, you get free promotion, world-class analytics, premium ads, and personal support.
Go to electricast.com and join our community today.
Electricast. Transform your influence.
Electricast. Electricast.
Welcome to the Candle Power Hour.
Come with us backstage behind the scenes of show business spanning over 4 decades and bringing you the experiences that can only be told by the people who were there.
Our guests are from the A-list, the F-list, and everyone in between. Get set for some of the most insane, hilarious, and inspiring stories you will ever hear.
I'm Mercury.
And I'm Diego.
Your hosts for the Candle Power Hour.
Electricast.